open it up for questions.
Urban, you talked about setting the sights of the championship down the line. How do you maintain the championship consistency in a program year after year once it's there?
Well, I never said that we're setting our sight on championships. I think you got to be very cautious about when you talk to your players about our job is to compete for championships in November, and that's all I want them to think about. Is it's a complex. A team is a complex animal that you got to really be careful how you approach things. Start talking about things that are way beyond even. I don't want to say expectations, but we don't even talk about those things. We talk about we have to get to November and compete for a championship, and that's complicated enough. So I try to temper that. One of the best things that happens in 12 days, we move into a hotel, we wake up every morning to go to work, and they don't have time to be dealing with what about this, what about this, what about this, and that's the hardest part is when they're away from you. So I try to temper all those things and just let's worry about getting better day to day. So I think that's real important, too, that the approach we take, too.
Aside from the media and sort of, outside of anything beyond you, what was it like for you personally, or how difficult was it for you personally to hear your name come up as soon as the charges were brought against Aaron Hernandez, or to have your name associated with that?
It felt awful. I mean, it's a sick feeling. It's your thoughts and prayers are with the family of the victims, and every player situation, every recruit situation, all in, I'll always be back in my mind. That's all I can say.
Coach, what's it like for you to have a guy who used to work for you now in the conference, Gary Anderson?
Well, it's great. I just had lunch with Gary. Gary and I talk quite often. Gary was arguably one of the most important hires we ever made. We were 10-2, had a good team coming back, and we hired Gary Anderson my second year and went undefeated. And Gary took one of our weakest units, the defensive line, and just his overall presence, his positive attitude, his character, what kind of guy he is, and obviously he's a great X&O coach. And Cal Winningham came into my office and said, I need to have Gary Anderson. And I wasn't going to go in that direction. I had another guy I was going to hire, and I went and had dinner with Gary and his wife, and completely blown away. And the people in Wisconsin are going to find out what a great, not just great coach, what a great guy he is, great person, great family man. I love Gary Anderson.
He says he likes coaching against friends and people he respects. What, for you, what does that do?
I don't.
Rivalry of playing in Wisconsin.
Well, Wisconsin, I found out last year that's a heck of a rivalry. Wisconsin's been kind of top of the heap for the last few years, and there's our players, the respect factor we have, because I've been away from the Big Ten for a while, and the respect factor I found out, that's every bit as respect as any other team in the conference because of the success they've had. And certainly since Coach Alvarez got there, but in recent years they were, I think it was 3 years ago, 3 years straight in a Rose Bowl. So I don't think Coach Anderson, Coach Meyer have anything to do with that one. That's already in place because of the success of Wisconsin.
When you got there last year, there was a lot of talk about the juice. You go to practice and make it karate with the juice. This year's the chase. You can pump that stuff, but don't you have to have some of that in you? Some of that's artificial.
Oh, it is. And that's a great question, and that comes from the leadership. So we are, certainly the chase is on, and last year was the juice, and we taught some players that maybe didn't have the necessary juice to be a leader, which is the energy and the passion that you have to be great at anything that you do. And this year we're all chasing something, and that whole thing all started, Clay, with we lost 15 bowl practices, so we had to somehow make them up. And NCAA rules say we're not allowed to go past a certain amount of hours, so a lot of that there was going to be on their own. And I'm proud to tell you, we're starting fall practice in my mind that we're all caught up. And I'll see when I see our team, but from what the leaders are telling me and just from what I'm hearing and from our, the leaders of the team, I think the chase is right on schedule.
Urban, with all the emphasis on concussions and player safety today, do you have to coach differently in practice than you used to?
Well, I went through a practice schedule. For example, in spring, we went from going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday to just Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I don't want to go back-to-back. So my job, and this is going to be a different 2 days than we've ever had. We had some concussions last year. Our strength coach and I went through each concussion, where it happened, how it happened, and we're going to find out why. And we found out there's certain drills that are impact related that caused a couple of them. And so we eliminated those drills, or we're reteaching those drills. I spaced out inside. Really, I think this is really going to, this question about the impact of the future college football and high school football. But like inside pods and fire zone period, three very physical drills. We're never doing it all in one day. So we'll go one day of an inside drill, we'll skip the afternoon practice if there is one, and not do the same drill, and then do it the next day. So we're very conscientious about the amount of contact they receive during practice. Completely different than we've done it before.
Urban, you referenced in the other room that some of the outside criticism did affect you a little bit because of human emotion. How much attention to that stuff do you really pay? Did you feel any need in the last month or so to defend yourself or the program?
Because I don't watch it. I'll hear it from someone that will, whether it be a relative or a part of the family, but I stay completely away from it. I learned several years ago that I'm not going to, no matter how I feel, that's a battle you're not going to win. So I just completely stay away from it. One thing that bothers you is when you start stereotyping a group. There's incredible kids at University of Florida, incredible kids at Ohio State, unbelievable coaches with great hearts, and some guys make some mistake, and that impacts everybody. We're not the only program in America that makes mistakes. For some reason, I get that we've had a few. We've had too many, and I've self-evaluated. I've evaluated our staff. I've evaluated how we do our business, and we're continually changing to make sure we do it the right way. And it's ever changing.
What are your thoughts on the new rule of college football that players going to be ejected and there's helmet to helmet,
Yeah, I was actually watching that today, and it's the first ejection is going to be hard to deal with. But if it's for the player's safety, then it's all good. But that's going to be, I think it's about the teaching. We've put out a video to our players. We actually had a little clinic for all the local grade schools last night, and the whole topic was how to teach proper technique and tackling. And it did. It went from playing a game like this to start to play a game like this, and that has to get out of the game. There's only one way to do it, is penalize them and reteach it. And so we're spending, every player on their video iPad has a tackling video and teach tape on how it needs to be done. So we're spending a lot of time on that.
But that's going to be a judgment call by the official? That's going to be a judgment call by the official?
I believe so, yeah. Head-to-head contact above with intent to target is the way it's been told to me.